The little money managed care may save in the short run is going to be dwarfed by the millions that will be paid out by ICE when the lawsuits roll in. There have been just a handful of lawsuits so far, but they know they're sitting on a powder keg.
My name is Francisco Castaneda.
DIHS is being sued in the case of 35-year-old Francisco Castaneda, seen here on his deathbed. Castaneda immigrated illegally from El Salvador at the age of 10. In 2004, he spent a few months in jail for drug possession. Then, he was sent to a detention center for deportation.
When you look back on how he was treated at the detention center over those months, what do you think?
I'm mad. Sad.
Castaneda's sister, Janira, says her brother went into the detention center with a bleeding lesion on his genitals. There was concern that it was cancer, but the DIHS turned down requests for a biopsy. Conal Doyle is the Castaneda family lawyer.
How long do you believe the DIHS staff in the detention center knew or had a reasonable reason to suspect that he had cancer?
The second day he entered the facility on March 28, 2006, a physician's assistant, Lieutenant Walker, specifically documented that he needed a urology consult and a biopsy to rule out cancer.
And how long was it before he got that biopsy?
He never got it during his detention.
Castaneda filed grievances with the Division of Immigration Health Services. He wrote, "I am in a considerable amount of pain, and I am in desperate need of medical attention." DIHS said that the surgery was elective and the government wouldn't pay for it. His request was denied for 10 months. Then, for reasons that aren't clear, he was simply released.
They released him on February 5, 2007, and he sought care on his own outside the facility and had that biopsy on February 8th. Cancer was discovered. His penis was amputated on February 14th.
But the cancer had already spread, and Francisco Castaneda died a year later.
The judge in this case, the Federal District Court, has entered an order describing the care received by Castaneda as transcending negligence by miles and being beyond cruel and unusual.
Immigration and Customs Enforcement declined an interview, but ICE did send us this letter, which says in part, "The number of deaths per 100,000 is dramatically lower for ICE detainees than for U.S. prison and jail populations." ICE goes on to say that the nation as a whole is experiencing severe shortages in qualified health professionals. In October, the Congress held hearings on immigrant health care, and a senior immigration official, Gary Meade, told the Congress that ICE provides, quote, "state-of-the-art medical care and the best possible health care," end quote.
Last year, DIHS completed over 500,000 medical visits for the detainees in our custody. Many of our detainees receive almost daily attention. So it's an aggressive program, and we do everything possible to maintain the best quality of life for the detainees in our custody.
ICE declined to talk about the detainees in our story. In the case of Reverend Dantica, a government inspector general's report said that there was no evidence of mistreatment or malfeasance in his death. The Castaneda family is continuing to pursue its lawsuit.
What does the DIHS owe prisoners like Francisco Castaneda?
Well, if the government's going to detain someone, it's very clear. The Supreme Court has said that they are entitled to reasonable medical care. And that includes medical care for any serious medical need.
You know that there are people watching this interview who are saying to themselves, Castaneda was an illegal immigrant, he had a drug conviction, the people of the United States owed him nothing.
I'm sure there's people out there that think that, but that's not what the law is, and that's not what a civilized society does. You know, if it's true that you judge the degree of civilization in a society by entering its prisons, the United States has a long way to go on this particular issue.
2 weeks ago, DIHS admitted to a federal court that it was medically negligent in its treatment of Francisco Castaneda. Now, Congress is considering a bill to set new standards for immigrant detainee health care.
To learn more, go to cbsnews.com or thewashingtonpost.com/carelessdetention.